Here, AI agents are going to start doing a lot of things in our economy. And for AI agents to coordinate with incentive systems, they're probably going to use crypto. And so if this AI story works out in certain consumer areas, especially...
And then tokenizes everything.
To AI, value.
You got to fire a lot of people. That's a whole other question.
Uber, Bitcoin, self-driving cars. Combine those three together, and you have the self-owning taxi. A car that is a corporation that owns itself, pays for the car lease, the car insurance, and the gasoline from the revenues it makes, giving passengers a ride, and there's not a single human involved in that matter.
I think you think Bitcoin is real, right? My question now is it's become mainstream to the point of ETFs. I think it's to be harder to go higher quickly now. Unlike, it was supposed to be that everyone can get in now and that all the ETF companies are going to need to buy Bitcoin to put it in the ETFs. To me, it's like if you bought it at $800 or $8,000, you were smart. You went through a lot of trouble to buy it. Now everyone can buy it. I think it's going to be here for a while.
There's not going to be a whole new financial story driving it from the side of buyers necessarily, although there's one type of buyer that could be very important here. AI agents are going to start doing a lot of things in our economy. And for AI agents to coordinate with incentive systems, they're probably going to use crypto. And so if this AI story works out in certain consumer areas, especially...
And then tokenizes everything.
To AI, do you, Kathy Wood, 500,000, $1 million... And that's I can't believe any. But
they're not going to be trading Bitcoin. They might be using Ethereum. They might be using Solana. They might be using other things that they can tokenize.
Those are the three they might use, and they're probably all correlated at the end of the day. And the 500,000 story for me, Joe, is more about the macro question: are we going to be in a massive deficit in 25 and 26 and spending money willy-nilly, irresponsibly? If so, what assets safe? I mean, if you have inflation come up again, you have bonds sell off again with crazy government spending. That's a story I'm hearing from a lot of my friends who know macro better than me. You could see crypto do very well.
Yeah, we're not going from 100% debt to GDP back down to 30 just by waving a magic wand, are we? How are we going to do that?
Well, you got to fire a lot of people. That's a whole other question.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And guys, this is the first time we had CNBC tell the truth about the plan. Didn't say the fourth industrial revolution, but did say AI is going to be using crypto. That's right, people. AI is going to be using crypto, and a lot of people are going to have to get fired. Productivity is going to move up, and we know why. These machines don't need a lunch break. They don't call out. They work 24/7. They don't need health benefits, and they're definitely not going to talk back to you. And when he stated a lot of people are going to have to get fired, he laughed. Guys, this is all part of the NWO plan. And I talked about it a long time ago and wrote about it a long time ago. Guys, the machines are coming while the sheep are distracted on things that don't matter. And don't get me wrong, you got a whole lot of hard-working people out there focused on raising their kids and trying to do the right thing. They don't watch television. They don't be on social media. They're just trying to live a good life. But unfortunately, guys, they still are in the sleep category. It's time for the sheep to wake up. Because anytime you hear this on national television, a lot of people are not going to understand what they're saying. 99% of people are not going to get it. But now they're going to start talking about it. The same way we see in the movies. We had the Kevin Hart movie talking about NFTs. Majority of people who watched that movie didn't understand about NFTs. But they're slowly trying to program the people in it. And then they're going to speed it on up. Like he stated, it's going to be 3 to 5 years. And we heard the same thing from Biden. Now, we heard from Mike Novogratz when he stated that the millennials are already fired when he was at a conference. I played that video about 5 times, but we've never heard it on national television, the plan for the fourth industrial revolution. So now you heard from the horse's mouth. Remember, the Crypto Teacher, this brings you the truth. Yes, I narrated around it, so therefore it's easy for you to understand, but you heard it from the horse's mouth. And I went over affordable homes yesterday. Guys, the plan is in motion. Yes, you're going to have a lot of distractions. Trump, the drums are beating. But it's all for the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And don't forget, blockchain gives the NWO the all-seeing eye. The only thing they have to do is push a button if they don't like what you see, and you're deleted. And with the metaverse, they'll be able to download you, and we know if they're able to download you, they'll definitely delete you. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
In the companies that either already exist or the new companies. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, AI, Andrew, is going to be something that impacts productivity. That's what really matters here, right? At the end of the day, what are we all doing with these markets, with these businesses? You want to create more with less. You want to create more prosperity for society. When you have something like electricity, it takes decades to work its way through everything, right? Electricity, I think 30 years in, you finally have factories designed to use electricity. But even in the first decade, it did a lot of other things.
Right.
AI right now, it's going after a lot of areas. We're seeing already how it could raise the margins, how it could address things. There's lots of service areas of the economy. I'll give you one example. Healthcare billing is a $280 billion revenue area, and we're already seeing how AI is probably going to be able to double the margins in that area, which basically means you pull $100 billion of spend out of the economy. That's new wealth it creates through productivity. There's probably going to be trillions of dollars of that the next 5 years.
You think in the next 5 years that happens?
I think you actually see by the mid to late 2020s, economic numbers showing up where productivity's gone up.
Do you think, though, I was thinking Con Ed, which is electricity in New York, it's not a great high flyer of a stock because at some point it does become commoditized. So is there like a period right now which is like a renaissance and then it gets commoditized? The other thing that I worry about or think about is whether we're in 1996 or 1999 where there's just going to be too much of an almost overinvestment in this area and there's going to be a lot of collateral damage when it's over.
The way markets work with new possibilities is there always is overinvestment. There's a few big platforms that emerge that are going to be extraordinarily valuable. The same way in the late 90s you had things like Amazon born, you have Google born. Obviously, those would have been really good bets. You have a lot of other things that there's too much hype. But then basically you have these infrastructure for AI that makes a lot of money because 2 or 3 or 5 things emerge as winners there.
Right.
And then the whole economy benefits. If productivity goes up as much as it looks like it's going to do, that makes money for every one of us. And that's a good thing for the whole society.
Do you think there's more value in the software piece or the hardware piece? One of the things that I think has been fascinating to hear, people were talking about it actually in Davos, is Sam Altman, who was there from OpenAI, clearly has been looking around to try to raise money to actually start manufacturing chips. In the old world, chips were never considered a valuable thing to do. And by the way, maybe in 10 years from now, there'll be an overabundance of chips and nobody will care about chips anymore. But for the next 5 or 10 years, it seems like people won't be able to get enough of them.
The infrastructure of chips is critical to make this work. If you can make chips commoditized, that means the rest of us are going to be all very well off because you're going to be applying it to the whole economy. The most money is going to be made, frankly, for the S&P 500, for the big companies that are more productive overall. That's where the real money gets made if this works. But we need the chips to do that. Sam's thinking, how can I apply this technology? How do we scale it? There's a scarcity of chips, so it's really smart to do.
In the defense world, how do you think it fundamentally changes things? We were talking to your co-founder, Alex Karp, about sort of how AI is going to impact his business. He's leveraging ChatGPT and some of these other large language models as well. So the question is, do you have to create your own model? Is it really just about taking somebody else's model and applying it to what you're doing?
Well, it was really cool. I guess OpenAI opened up to defense now. But listen, in the defense world, software is becoming more important. AI makes software determinative in defense. We already have all these new companies needed in defense because the old big primes, the big legacy defense contractors, they're really good at hardware. They're pretty bad at software. Thanks to AI, you now desperately need all the new companies in defense because there's a bigger gap there.
What does that mean, determinate? Like determine
it means
or you mean determining what lines you kind of follow?
It means determining what technologies are dominant in warfare, right? So if you have AI being as good as it is now, suddenly it really, really matters to have the best software. If you're going to be doing you want to get a certain amount of money for a certain amount of outcome, right? So if you're going to be building 1,000 small autonomous drones for some kind of battle scenario, if you have AI, you desperately are going to need the best software companies involved in that. Otherwise, you're going to lose that battle. You're going to not be deploying it correctly.
Hey, Joe, I know that going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in an ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.